What up, Marvel Future Revolution players, Player1 here to talk to you about something that is bugging me. In the past days I have been reading in the global chat, on WhatsApp and even on the Facebook community page the same opinion that the game has died and that is increasingly empty. That's why I came here, just to prove to you guys with numbers that this is not happening, and in the end leave my opinion about what went right or wrong in this last patch. But please, as always, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and leave a comment on the end of the video. Let's go for it. This last Wednesday, the 29th of September, the first content patch for Marvel Future Revolution arrived, and with it came bugs, which for me is normal and happens in almost every game I play. And is also to be expected soon that complaints also the bugs started, which is also normal and expected. After all, the company can only fix something wrong if it knows if there is something wrong. But in the game chat, Facebook, Discord and even in the WhatsApp groups that I'm into, the rumors started that the game is empty and that it's dying. But the numbers show something else. Huge disclaimer here, all the numbers shown here are from the US or global market. The Sensor Tower webpage analysis, comments, reviews, downloads and the spending habit within the apps. And you can see here that in September we have 2 million downloads of the game with a store spend of over $7 million, receiving thus an A+ grade. Notice that in the release day and on the patch day we have a lot more positive reviews than negative ones. And if you look at the Similarwrap, a site that analyzes game rankings over the last 28 days, you can see that it has dropped a few positions, from 694 to 770. It turns out that in the same 28 days, it is still the third most played game in the US, ranked 191 in all categories, and is the 17th most played RPG game in Google Store. But you might ask me, if that's true, why do I see more and more players leaving or selling their accounts? This migratory movement of players is normal for two reasons. First, with demand of new content or the release of new characters, some players feel unmotivated because they have to do it all over again, or the increased amount of new modes, new events, make them put in the game quality versus quality of time on the balance and decide to reduce the rhythm within the game. But the main reason is that many players finish all the content of the game quickly and without nothing else to do, they leave the game just to come back the next patch. And then only the base game players maintain the daily play. But let me prove this to you using another game that I love, Path of Exile. In 2019, one of the game creators, Chris Wilson, attended the GDC, the Game Developer Conference, and showed the average number of players since the game's launch until that time. He noticed that after each new patch release, they have a spike in new players, which slowly decreases until the next patch is released. And because of this, their ability to listen to the game community and understand their problems, notice that every patch by patch, both the base players and as the maximum players are always increasing. And before you say to me, oh, you can compare a hack and slash game, a computer hack and slash game with a mobile MMO. Okay, so let's compare the 3 top Marvel games on the mobile market today. Starting with the other game from the same company, Marvel Future Fight, which had a base of 1 million new downloads in September and a spending habit of 2 million in the same period. And notice that the number of reviews on the game have 2 spikes. Yes, they are from the patch. So August 4th and September the 8th. Patch equals reviews, spike reviews. And if we compare the performance on the both games, you see that they both have a slightly decrease when you think about user rank in all categories. But if you look in the user rank, when you're thinking about role-playing games, you see that Revolution has increased from 15 to the 3rd place, while Future Fight decreases from the 13 to the 15th spot as the most played game, most played game, RPG game. And you can see also that when you go to the Google Play rank, Future Revolution increased their spot, but Marvel Future Fight decreased from the 9th most played role-playing game to the 67th. If we look now at Marvel Contest of Champions, it had only 400,000 new downloads, but it had a 6 million spend habitat. And also shows that there are some peaks, reviews on update days or announcement days. But because these games have completely different mechanic, we can only compare their overall rating in the last 28 days, because one is action and the other is RPG, so this site doesn't compare rough numbers like that. But you can see here that in the same 28 days, both of them has had a slight decrease in their overall rank. And finally, comparing the other game I play daily, Marvel Strike Force, which had 300,000 new downloads with the same 7 million spend that Revolution had. I noticed that every new patch on Strike Force, we still have the same peak on reviews, but in the last one, this September 28 and 29, we have almost the same number of negative reviews, which may or may not have reverted to the game player base. That's because if you see the overall rank of Marvel Future Revolution and Strike Force, you will see that Revolution had that peak and now it's slightly decreased, but Strike Force is still maintaining around the 500 area. But if you look for the usage ranking for an RPG, you'll see that as Revolution spiked from the 15th to the 3rd position, Strike Force is still today the second most the most played RPG in the United States. But if we look on Google Play rank, you will see that Marvel Revolution has dropped from the 1st spot to the 24th, but now it maintains at with increasing on the 17th. But Marvel Strike Force dropped from the 11th position to the 34th, had a huge peak days before the patch release, going to the 11th position, but now dropped after the patch to this position number 63, and now is decreased again to the 39th position. And again, you can ask me, okay, I got the numbers, but why is the game empty? Why I don't see people in the dark zone like before? That's simple. People are still there. They just play at a different time in different rooms. Until last week, we are playing for the same double XP time slot on 3 channels on Dark Zone. After the patch, everyone is farming XP to jump from 103 to the 110 level. And the best way to do it is killing as many mobs as possible in the shortest time. And for that, playing in groups doesn't help. And we also have now 5 channels instead of 3. But to give you a better example, instead of having 2000 players on the 3 channels in 2 times, which would give an average of 333 players per channel, we now have the same 2000 players divided in 8 hours in 5 channels, which give an average of 15 players per channel. And just to make an analogy here, this photo was taken last June at Beto Carreiro, a theme park back in Brazil. And if you think, you can say, okay, this is crowd. But if you look at the same stand from a separate time on the same day at the same time, you will see that it's not full. It's just an impression from the angle that you were looking for. But okay, what do I think of the patch now that we had a good time to play? About the new act, I like the new act and I'm absurdly happy with the fact that so far only few players have managed to pass to the end boss, Dormammu, on the final part of the act. Regarding magic, we already had the rumor that she would not come in this patch, but only in the patch of October 12th. So I didn't have any expectations, and because of that, I wasn't frustrated whatsoever. Okay, regarding the Blitz, as much as we lost a bit of resources here, I honestly prefer having to do only 5 instead of the 27 times over and over again. And they have said already that they are gonna review it to make back again the same resources. But regarding the new Dark Zone, here for me is the best change in the patch. Yes, if you are competing for the top 25 on the rank, you may be hurt by the new score system. But for the rest of all the players, this new method is so much better. And the opening of 3 more new non-PvP channels guarantee that whoever wants to compete have that spot, and whoever doesn't has had it also. And what about the bugs? As I said in the beginning, every game has bugs on the patch day. What matters to me is how fast the company decides to fix them. And for me, at this point, Netmarble was spotless. In less than 24 hours, they had 2 patches fixing the bugs, and soon after it, we have a post apologizing, say that they are monitoring the channels to collect more reviews, to analyze improvements, and they are already thinking about whether or not will go back to the old Blitz system or something in between. Besides that, they already promised to reduce the animation time of Captain America, Storm, and Star-Lord. So I still see a solid path for this game, with a lot of room to grow and attract even more players. But I want to hear your opinion on this. Do you agree or not with what I've said here? See you guys later. Player 1 out!